Redefine project, also on behalf of my colleagues Ersin and Zeynep and the other team members. So as we talk in the morning sessions, according to UNHCR, actually as of end of 2019, there are around 80 million forcibly displaced people worldwide. And as we talk, it is increasing, and they are likely to face with potentially traumatic events during war. Both these war-related potential traumatic events and stressful situations together may increase the risk of developing common mental disorders in forcibly displaced people. And a recent review by WHO also estimates the point prevalence of mental disorders around 22 among conflict-affected populations. And among the forcibly displaced people, Syrian refugees constitute the single largest group of displaced people in the world. And since the outbreak of Syrian war in 2011, millions of Syrians have been displaced and looked refuge in neighboring countries such as Jordan, Turkey, and also in Europe. And according to UNHCR, there are 5.5 million Syrians. And the majority of Syrian refugees, actually, they are living in Turkey, and currently Turkey is hosting estimated 3.6 million refugees, Syrian refugees. And this is making Turkey the country which is hosting the largest number of refugees in the world. And in general, almost all Syrian refugees live in the Turkish communities, in the urban areas, rural areas. Just less than 7% are living in camps. And according to Turkish law, Syrians are accepted as being under temporary protection, but I will use the refugee term. But of course, as you may imagine, this would cause some problems to have this refugee status, especially in terms of economic and work-related conditions. And so they can have an access to free state services such as education services or health services. They have limited rights, especially about work. And this could create more difficulties, especially in crisis times full of uncertainty. High rates of war-related trauma and post-migration stressors have been reported by Syrian refugees in Europe or in other countries. And similar to other refugee groups, elevated prevalence of symptoms of common mental disorders has been reported in Syrian refugees in Turkey. A recent study found that around almost 1 in 5 Syrian refugees have depressive symptoms, while more than 1/3 had anxiety and/or PTSD symptoms. And among them, female Syrians, those having economic problems or who have previous trauma and who have current unmet social and safety needs, are at higher risk for mental health problems. So this huge number of Syrian refugees and high prevalence of mental health problems actually creates a demand on the health system of Turkey. And as I mentioned just before, Syrians registered in any municipality of Turkey can access services in public health system for free. However, a recent research again shows that less than 10% of Syrians actually with mental health problems seek care. And there are different barriers for not seeking care, like misbeliefs on the cost of treatments, lack of information about the available treatment options, language difficulties, and the stigma. So to overcome these barriers to mental health care, WHO actually developed SH+, and in our study, we evaluated the effectiveness of SH+ as an indicated preventive intervention for Syrian refugees experiencing psychological distress without any mental health disorder. We compared with enhanced treatment as usual in Turkey. And our trial is very similar to European trial. And so our primary outcome measure was also the frequency of mental health disorders at 6-month follow-up. We also measured it with MINI, and we recruit participants in 2 cities, Istanbul and in Mardin. And in total, 1186 Syrian refugees were assessed. And we excluded 544, mostly due to having less psychological distress, because we were including those with psychological distress according to GHQ. And we also excluded around 300 people due to the presence of any mental health disorder, according to Mini. And there were others who refused to participate, mostly due to unavailability to participate to the interventions and to our other priorities. And the eligible participants who gave oral and written informed consent were randomized. And randomization was coordinated by Verona University, and they were those who randomized in the enhanced treatment as usual. They continued to receive the routine health care or social care that they receive, but we enhanced that arm through providing a leaflet including information on freely available social or health-related services for Syrian refugees in Mardin and also in Istanbul. So we had the same measures as it is in the EU trial. So we assessed the functioning, depressive symptoms, subjective well-being, and we assessed self-defined problems through psycholobes, and adverse life events were assessed at baseline, and we also assessed cost effectiveness and PTSD symptoms. However, in our trial, different than EU, we couldn't be able to complete and actually do the 12-month follow-ups. Due to some technical problems, we couldn't conduct the 12-month follow-up assessments, unfortunately. So, as Marianna told, we had an TOT in Verona in May 2018, and we had that group of mental health professionals then started the training of facilitators first in Istanbul and then in Mardin. So we started our recruitment in October 2018. And we completed our 6-month follow-ups between May 2019 and 2020. During that time, we conducted 3 training of facilitators. These facilitators are actually, because SH Plus is a peer-to-peer intervention, and they are mostly Syrian young people. Mostly they are graduates of universities or students, and we also had some facilitators from Egypt and Jordan, so they all had this migration and refugee background. And in total, we trained 41 facilitators in 3 different training of facilitators trainings. And one of them was also, we had WHO consultant Teresa with us in Istanbul training. So we recruited our participants through the NGOs who are already providing various support systems to Syrian refugees. We introduced our study to their workers at first. Actually, for us, it was very important to build a trust relationship with these NGOs because they were our main recruitment places. So we introduced our study, we introduced SH Plus, and then they informed their beneficiaries, and then they announced our study through their social media accounts or through the flyers that our team prepared for them. So we had used the Facebook, WhatsApp groups, and we also actually had a video. If my internet will work, I just want to show at the end. So we made some introduction short movies about the study. Here you see our facilitators introducing SH Plus in a short video, which is uploaded also in YouTube. So in total, we completed 20 groups in SH Plus. There were 6 male groups and 14 female groups. And the average number of participants in one group was 16. And so we had the NGOs, they provide us the places where our groups came together, and also after the adaptation of the manual by WHO, we used the Syrian version. So we had in Arabic, and all our facilitators were also Syrians. About the dropout rates, and also in this morning, Dr. Visa told about it is difficult, challenging to recruit males and also keep them in the trial. And we had the same thing actually. So the overall dropout rate was around 30%. But when we look at the difference between females and males, it was 22% for female participants, while it is 43% for male participants. And when we ask about the reasons why it's more challenging to keep them in the trial, actually, we had a strategy to arrange the meetings, the settings, the SH plus sessions, especially for men, in the after 5 p.m. in the Sundays, where they have less likely to have a work. So even that, due to their uncertain work conditions, most of the time they may hear about the work and then they go and they prioritize to go to work instead of coming to sessions. But of course, I think that is also important what Dr. Rissa said, that it is also important to maybe highlight the importance of what they can get in this intervention. So this is also something we are thinking for future implementation. So our group actually as average age 31, and we had mostly females, and we had 80% of our group was married, and the mean education in years was 9. And both groups were balanced in terms of socio-demographics and clinical variables. So the results actually, as Mariana told, I will give a very brief and preliminary results here, different than the European trial. We didn't find a difference at the post-assessment in terms of the prevalence of diagnosis between two groups. However, we found that SH plus reduced the frequency of any mental disorder assessed by MINI at 6-month follow-up. And we also found significant improvements for SH plus group for depression symptoms, psychological distress, and perceived problems at 6 months. Before finishing my presentation, I just want to give a bit background information about what happened between the post-assessment and the 6 months. Actually, it was a time we were having our main follow-ups, 6-month follow-up assessment. It was the time that Turkey started an operation to Syria. And it just actually occurred in the border of Mardin. So this photo is taken from Mardin and looking to Syria, and that is Syria. And it is Peace Spring operation, and it is the first time in Syrians hear official discourse of sending back. So, and Turkey's National Defense Ministry announced the operation as Operation Peace Spring has started for the purposes also creating the necessary conditions for the return of displaced Syrians to their homes and lands. So this was a time actually there was also hostility or tension increased between the host group and the Syrians due to the loss of a number of Turkish soldiers in Syria. And as everywhere, as in Europe and other places, of course, we had COVID-19 and during our follow-ups. And according to one of the reports of Relief International, in this report, we see that 87% of Syrians has someone in their household lost their job because of the outbreak. And also they have difficulty to access health services and they have unurgent, unmet needs. So our study has limitations. Actually, we included only the registered Syrians in Turkey, so we cannot generalize our findings to unregistered ones. And we have to change the assessment modality. We were doing the face-to-face assessments before, but we had to conduct the 6 months, most of the 6 months also by phone, through phone. And we didn't gather any information on lifetime history of mental disorders at baseline. So our results could include both the first incidence and also recurrence of these disorders. And as conclusion, we say that SH Plus is effective in reducing the frequency of any mental disorders at 6-month follow-up among distressed Syrian refugees, and it could be integrated into step care models as an indicated prevention strategy. And I will try to actually, if I can do, just to share. Show this video if I do have time, of course. But I think no, it's not working. So thank you for listening, and thank you, Michaela, also.